But Joe, would you? Okay. Got it. All right. So welcome everybody to the September 5th, 2023 Delta Amateur Radio Club Board of Directors meeting. Are we, we're all good to go with still meeting at Mid-America Seminary, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the donation this month, or do we want to wait another month?
No, we can, I think, go ahead and talk about it. I recommend $100 and we give it to them at the club meeting
All right.
with the letter.
$100. Okay. So do we want to just, anybody have any thoughts about that?
I think it's a good idea.
I would agree.
Yes.
I did talk to Randy. November meeting, we're going to have to go to another room. They've got something that needs 200 people that need that ballroom area. They actually would open all three of the rooms that are in that group for that meeting. But he said he'll be glad to show us where it'll be. The room is set for 66, is good enough for 66 people. It's sort of an amphitheater type with tables in front of each seat, from what he said.
Okay.
But I said I had no problem with that, considering that we're getting it free, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Will we still do snacks, or will it be limited?
Yeah, no, we can do snacks, I think.
Will the meeting be going on the same time as that area, or be it at a different time?
At the same time, I think.
Okay. Well, just getting access to getting ice will be the only challenge.
Yeah. One other, yeah, that's
okay.
One other thing. I noticed that I have the name of the theological seminary is Mid-America Baptist Theological Seminary, and I have left it out of the preamble because I don't want them confusing it with Bellevue Baptist Church. The word Baptist is left out. So, but I'm doing it on purpose where I don't want people confusing with Bellevue Baptist Church.
Sounds good.
I think if they see Mid-America, they'll know where to go eat on a map versus Bellevue Baptist Church.
Sounds good. Well, Joe, I'm gonna take that as a motion about the $100 donation to them. Does anybody want? Can I get a second for that?
Second.
All right. So Joe made the motion. Paul seconded the motion. Is there any more discussion on it? All right. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? All right, the motion passes. Jim's on, right? Yeah. Jim, can you get the check to him, I guess, by the meeting time? So that way Joe can give it to Randy.
Your audio's, something's wrong with your audio, Jim. Now you're muted. Nope, still off.
Giving us the silent treatment.
Can't blame him.
While he's working on that, I did draft a letter of thank you to Randy. I hadn't sent it yet because Joe and I were going to wait until we talk here. Given that, or since we're going to be making this donation, would somebody other than me want to be the signature for that? I can print it and bring. Well, I'll update the information, or would you rather me just email it to you?
If you want to email it, I can print it out and sign it and have it there.
Okay. All right. Well, I will do that then.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Unless we could all even sign it, like, if we wanted to do that, or it could be just one. I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think?
Sure.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't like my signature.
We leave Jim off.
Mine's pretty bad also. I should have been a doctor.
Yeah. Oh, you mean our
Uh,
signatures have to be legible? That's a different
That's a problem.
scenario altogether.
All right, so is my audio better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
So that sounds good, Jim. Have a check Tuesday.
Yes.
$100. Okay.
I will have a check for $1,000. No, $100. Written out to Joe.
Huntsville, Joe, do you want to?
Mary Jean, you frozen?
I think it's good
There you
now.
go.
Yeah.
There you
How was Huntsville?
Huntsville was pretty good. They said that Lynn just came in. They said it was like 5,400 or 5,600 people attended this year, and they had a better Sunday than normal. We sold equipment, $496 we put in the treasury from it. We were $2 off from what the spreadsheet said versus the dollar, and $1 was because somebody gave me $100 for the bus trip, and I just threw it into the equipment sales, so we were $1 off. I figure that's pretty good check and balance.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Steve and I were talking about trying to get the booth back closer to the back wall, and not the very last booth before you get to the doors, but ones that are on the dead end of the aisleways between the flea market and the vendor booths. I didn't like the layout this year. They had the whole facility, and you had to go to the far end. If you went out in the hall to the conference rooms, you had to go to the far end and then come all the way back, which is a little bit different. And I attended the ARRL forum where ARRL CEO spoke, and he spoke a lot about the dues increase, which will be January the 1st at $59 a year. But I think we need to encourage members, if they want to pay ahead, to get it through the club, so we can get $5 rebate or refund from them. But that's the only thing that I have right now with Huntsville.
Okay. Do you want to go on and do your training update?
Okay, training. We had 10 people pass and 11 exams earned. The next one probably will start, the general will probably start the first week in November. It might be the sort of to the last of October. I've got to look at the schedule closer. And that's it on training right now. And then extra will probably be first week in December startup.
December or January?
I mean, January.
You said 10 of 11 passed?
11, no, 11 passed of 10 people that
Oh,
took
yeah,
the
yeah.
exam.
Because you had the general, the one
Yeah,
guy that did the
one
general.
got general. Thank you for correcting. And that's it. One thing is equipment sales. I'm going to get the list that we have and put it out Wednesday or Thursday. Let people know. Steve and I were talking about bringing some of the equipment to the meeting Tuesday night and seeing if they want to buy it. But that's try to get it out because we want to take it to Olive Branch as well. Hopefully we'll get rid of more of it. There's one, well, it was given to me. So one antenna that I have, I'm going to give to the club to put with the general, with the HF radio. So if we loan it out, we've got a radio and an antenna that we can loan out. And we'll have to, I've loaned it out before, and I loaned my power supply out. I'll loan that out until we get a power supply. That's a 20, it needs a 23 amp supply. I ran a 20 amp supply on it this weekend for the Tennessee QSO contest, and it seemed to work okay. So it must not peak too bad. And that's it.
John, what's up for programs this month?
Well, it's going to be titled From the Roadwaves to the Airwaves, Taking Ham Radio on the Road, How to Install, or just an overview of mobile ham radio. So I was going to cover different antenna types, different types of antenna mounts, what kind of radios, power, making sure you double fuse everything, both your negative and your positive. Even thinking about bringing some example items, even cover the tools to use to kind of hide your wiring and different tips for that as well. So that's kind of what I had in my mind. I could do something else, but
that sounds good. That's exciting.
And I might even have the Tar Heel there.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. And yeah, I actually just did the whole pucker thing and drilled a hole in the roof of my Ford F-150 to do an antenna mount. So
wow.
So yeah, I think I can share some useful tips.
That is scary. I've done that before.
You're gonna bring your truck into the meeting and show everybody what you got?
Yeah. Well, in all honesty, my Jeep is such a mess, but I can get it cleaned out. I'll be happy to show people what I've got going on there. But had mentioned to some other members, but they were kind of reluctant to kind of do a show and tell of their mobile setups. And so we may try to do a ham radio car show at a future meeting or something.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Paul, what do you have for us?
Since we're all going to sign that letter, I'll just go ahead and bring it unless you just want me to send it to you.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Other than that, we do have 3 applications this month, all from Joe's class. We have Jeff Klein, KQ4, KKS, Lorenzo Winters, KQ4, KLK, and Sean Faust, KQ4, KNI. So I would move that we accept these for membership.
Second.
All right. So Paul made the motion to accept the applications, and I think that was Joe Who seconded the motion? Any discussion on it? All right. Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All voting no, say no or raise your hand. All right. It unanimously passes. Thank you.
Two other quick things. I forget where we talked about this. Maybe it's the last meeting. Somebody mentioned maybe having a list of Elmers available in the handouts at the meetings. I'm all for doing that. I just wouldn't know who to list for the Elmers or what we need to do to do that.
I think instead of doing it that way, maybe and I don't mind working on the handout unless you want to, but having a sign up sheet where we don't actually put the Elmer information, but we just have a sign up sheet for the person who needs the help, and they can fill in, their name, their call sign, and then like cell phone or email address, and then what exactly they want to get help for. And then maybe that way at the end of the meeting we can look at it and say, oh, this guy needs help with CW. Let's see if Pat's willing to, or somebody, Carolyn, is willing to reach out.
Well, let's do a hybrid. I mean, we can get a few people that have expertise in certain areas and have those names down, because some people might not be willing to put their name down on a sheet of paper,
Yeah, that's true.
And if we see enough of a singular topic, it might be a great way to bring back Ham 101.
Yeah.
Well, also what you could do is have a helpline and let whoever does the helpline kind of know who does what. Like Pat would be CW, or, Carolyn would be CW, Joe could be antenna. Just people that because they might not need somebody to spend a lot of time. They've just got a question about something. It seems like what it is. And if it does go into longer, maybe the person will keep going on with them, or find somebody else that might have more time and expertise to do it.
Well, do we want to try to find people before? Do we want to maybe start with a list this time, and then at the meeting go around and ask people if we can list them as Elmers for certain topics?
I'd ask at the meeting if they would be willing to be an Elmer.
Okay.
Yeah, and also help on a helpline, like, maybe not adopt a full Elmer for life, but if we don't get enough Elmers, just have people that can answer questions for them. Because it seems like the new hams are the ones that all got questions, and they find somebody eventually, or, through Joe, or Joe answers it all the time, that can help them.
I do like the idea though. So Paul, do you want to type up that sheet, or I can?
I can do one, just like a sign up sheet for this time.
Yeah, I think so. And then I don't mind
need.
going around, or we can all go around and try to kind of find some folks to do a list like y'all are talking about. Because that is, that's true. Like some folks just don't want to really. They don't mind, calling or emailing, but they don't want to put their name on a list or something. So that's a good.
But I think Joe's right too. It might be good to have a list of being willing to serve as an Elmer.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of one of the foundations of the clubs, is having Elmers. I know my Elmer continues to help me.
Well, that sounds good. And you said you had one other thing, Paul?
One other thing, and it's kind of tangentially related to that one. When I was at the Hamfest, I saw a bunch of Boy Scouts running around at the Hamfest, and I know different people have talked about youth outreach and different ways to go about that. And so I've been thinking about it a little bit, but I wanted to just toss out there for thought at this point. if we think it might be worth trying to invest maybe an officer position into somebody to kind of spearhead kind of an ongoing youth outreach. Absent that, the other thing I was thinking is when my son was in Scouts, I taught merit badges at several merit badge colleges. And so I went to the Scout shop and I did buy the radio merit badge book and was thinking that worst case scenario, I could just get connected with some of the merit badge colleges and maybe offer to teach this merit badge at those places. But the thought's really just to try to find other ways to bring the younger people in.
And I'm going to read this email that. Sorry, what?
You almost have to have the parents involved with the kids, really to have them stay in it. We can try it. I mean, I've done merit badge. I don't like the merit badge. The Saturday merit badge things because they expect to get the merit badge and it makes it awfully difficult to get all the criteria for the merit badge in one day. You're going to have the whole day and not just a 4-hour period to get the merit badge, to do it right.
Yeah. And I've had situations where we couldn't complete it, and so we would try. My recommendation would be to focus on the things that they can't do with someone other than a ham person, and make sure you got those covered, and then just cover as much of the rest as you could, and then it would be on them to finish with their troops or whoever.
The two items in the radio merit badge is them having to draw out the frequency spectrum and getting the 10 minutes on the air. 10 minutes is a long time.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, I just wanted to pitch it out there to be thinking about as maybe something we might want to consider.
Okay. Well, let's think on it and maybe bring it up at the October board meeting. And I'll forward y'all tonight. Ryan KO4DZM sent some recommendations, or just kind of throwing some ideas out there about the Jamboree on the Air and maybe doing like Boy Scouts or something like that. And so I wasn't really ready because I saw that today, so I wasn't really ready, to talk a whole lot about it. But I mean, I don't know that it would hurt. So like, especially if y'all have got more experience with that, what works, what doesn't work. I think it might be good to kind of see and talk it out.
Okay.
Let's see. Is that all for you, Paul?
That's it for me.
Jim?
All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I did send a revised treasurer's report just a few minutes ago, but I'm going to display the revised one for you guys right now. Let's see. Where is it? Here, I'll do my entire screen. There we go. Am I sharing the right screen?
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay, you can see the treasurer's report?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So it shows over here, well, reports over there. It's showing up over here that it's sharing. Okay. All right, so we had a lot of activity this month with deposits and some payments here. So we began the month with in our checking with $22,314.72. We had $2,619 in deposits. I wrote checks, or several of us wrote checks for $5,135.44. So I'm going to show you where all of that came from. So for the month, we only had the 3 new memberships that we already voted on, and they were all waived of their dues because they were part of Joe's class. And we have not received any club commissions this month, but Joe did take in $265 in ARRL memberships that were written to him as checks that he deposited for us. There's also $49 for a 5th individual membership that was in cash, and that just kind of got funneled straight through. It didn't need to be deposited because Joe was submitting payment for all of these memberships instead of having people write their checks directly to the ARRL and then sending those in. He made one lump payment, and then he kept that cash because he had already paid for it with his own. I don't know. I guess he used a credit card. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. I hope I explained that well.
Yes.
Then we had some club equipment sales, $540 from the Al Simpson estate, and then the $496 that from the sales at the Huntsville Hamfest Flea Market. And much thanks to all those that man the table there, or tables. And thanks to Joe for taking care of all the collections of funds and deposits. Then we had bus fares for the Huntsville Ham Fest. We had just a few left over in August that weren't collected in July. So we had 2 individuals at $99, and then we had 1 family at $174. That was the Krause family. So that's a total of $372. And then we received a couple of donations. This is what is revised on this, is that these 2 donations I split out. Originally it said $946, but Joe had a good suggestion that we split this to show that 746 of that 946 was for this year's Hamfest bus scholarship. And then there's $200 that will carry over to 2024 and can offset the club costs next year. So that brought us to a total of $2,619 in total deposits. And that matches up with this 2,619. And then for withdrawals, we had nothing, but we did have a number of checks. We're out of sequence by 1 because 1595 actually was written and cashed in July. 1594 was held until August. So that was for reimbursement of club refreshments to Scott, $54.27. This $2,337 was what we paid for the bus charter to Klein Tours. And then we had another reimbursement for club refreshments for Scott. And then at the Hamfest, as we normally do, a check is taken and written for the exact number of entry tickets that are needed. And so that was handled by Joe with 19 tickets at $12 each. So it was a check written for $228. Then for reimbursement for other Huntsville Hamfest expenses for, like Danvers and I'm not sure if there were any other
Ice.
Ice right.
and bananas and a case of drinks.
Okay. And so that was included in this one check to Joe, as well as the $226, or was it 226? I'm sorry, 265 for the ARRL memberships that were that he paid with his credit card. And then there were some miscellaneous expenses for the club and for some antenna hardware, which came to $484.14. I double checked Joe's number, so we're good there. The last thing we had is a $2,000 check to Wallace Tower Specialist for the antenna work. So that's for moving the antenna from 500 to 700 feet and any other adjustments or inspections that they made. So that brought us to a grand total of $5,135.44 in checks or payments. And that matches up with our check number here, bringing us to an ending balance of $19,798.28. We do have our 2 CDs. The one certificate deposit's coming up in November of this year, and then the 2-year one is coming up in 2024. So any questions about the treasurer's report this month? Is this thing working?
Thank you for dividing out that scholarship.
Not a problem. All right. Thank you, guys.
Well, I need to log off here, but Perry, do you mind taking over and kind of running with the last couple?
By the
gonna
way,
be
happy
easy.
belated birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, I meant to say that as well. I saw that. Feel
But
bad.
I wanted to go on and mention to you guys real quick. So I actually just accepted a job last week. And in about a week and a half, I'm going to start teaching agriculture at Covington High School. And
Cool.
so I'll be teaching freshman agri-science and then like an ag mechanics mechanization type class. They eventually want to branch out to do like technology and all that, and ag power and ag production and things like that. So my availability and timing is about to change significantly. And I'll be happy to fill in more as I know more. But I will say I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a huge shift into what I was doing. But I think, and I mentioned it to Joe briefly, I do think that there's going to be an opportunity for me to be able to incorporate some ham radio stuff into the classroom. And so even though it's up here in Tipton County, I know I'm still excited to see maybe if I can help get some of these kids interested in ham radio. And I know ag is going to be the main thing, but I think with what they're wanting to do with the technology in the classroom, I think it's going to be exciting to see how it plays out. So
I haven't done a mobile install on a tractor, but I'm sure it would be really.
It's been done, I can assure
Oh,
you.
I'm sure it has.
I'm sure. So, but I am going to log off, and I'll watch the video to see, and hopefully it's a shorter meeting for everybody anyway to give you guys some free up your time tonight. But yeah, thank you for being on here. So, all right, Perry, it's in your hands.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations on your job, and agriculture is very important.
It is. It is.
Cool.
We need to start teaching more kids about agriculture and how to get their hands dirty and make more money than being a teacher or whatever.
For sure.
So it's glad to know you're doing that.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
You too.
All right, now I have control. I guess, do we have any questions or discussions on Jim's treasurer's report for this month? All right, do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make that motion.
All right, John.
I'll second it.
All right. Everyone in favor of accepting the treasurer's report, please say aye and or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome. Am I allowed to vote on my own report?
Yes.
Sure, why not?
Because I always want to say nay.
So do I. All right. Thank you, Jim. Seriously. Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure.
Let's see. Barry, do you have anything? The repeater's doing great. And anything else you have for us on the repeaters or anything this month?
No, like to know how many people have been able to talk on it or at least listen to it lately. I mean, of this group, has everybody heard it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, participated.
That's
Yeah.
the part I like. You've heard it and could understand it. But anyway, it went well. The work out there went well. We got our money's worth. They got there about 7:30, and we didn't leave till after 10. So at night. So
Wow.
we got our $2,000 worth out of that one. But
Sure sounds
anyway,
great.
everything went good, and everything I've been hearing so far, everybody's very, very pleased, and I'm very pleased with the coverage that we're getting right now. So, matter of fact, this weekend we're going to attempt to hit it from Mount Nebo, Arkansas. So that's the
Okay.
other side of the
Cool.
state. So and we've done
There
it.
you go.
Well, I may be on the net Saturday night.
Well, you
Yeah.
know it's working well when John Parrish throws his suffix before the courtesy tone even happens. Okay, 2-8.
So anyway,
I heard somebody say I think they talked on it at 72 and 269.
yeah, it's doing good.
Wow.
It's doing even better north.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
we're
well,
getting
northwest.
Yeah, Dyersburg is checking in. There's one or two other ones, like up in Jonesboro, I think has checked in. So it's a definite difference. So that was a well-spent $2,000 in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Thank you, Barry.
Absolutely.
Let's just hope it stays.
There you go. Well, Barry, we appreciate it. You know that, but we really do appreciate that. And sounding great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We're gonna
I don't know. We don't usually ask Scott. Scott, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, I done asked my question on the front end, so I just wanted to get it in there with Mary Jane. So,
All right, good deal. Appreciate it. And Lynn, do you have anything?
You're muted, Lynn.
No, don't have anything, but Barry, thank you for all your hard work on the tower, because I was getting nowhere with trying to hit downtown all of a sudden, or wherever the other repeater was. And it also sounds like more people are beginning to check in on Joe's work on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I will, we can't forget people that have helped me a lot down there. I'll mention them, I guess, during the meeting.
Yeah,
Barry,
I think something should maybe be said, reported of what actually was done. Because people know it was fixed, but they might not know that it was moved up 200 feet and all of that checked out.
Yep.
Barry, can you find out what antenna is actually there so we can put it in the records?
Let's just say that it's just like the old one that we used to have.
Well, we don't know
Is it
what
a
that
Sinclair?
was, so
I don't either.
So it's not a Sinclair.
Could you
Yeah,
send a drone? Can you send a drone up there and look at it? Can somebody send a drone?
Yeah, go ahead. You try to put a drone in all that mess.
I didn't know whether Rick could get a drone in that area.
I wouldn't even attempt it because of all the RF coming off that tower.
All right, good deal. I don't really have much to report. I have been making a conscious effort to try to move around the room and talk to people, especially new members and new hams, congratulate people on taking exams and stuff like that. And people do seem to appreciate that. So I'll try to continue to do that. I was talking to Joe recently, and I'm still a little bit in doubt as to what positions on the board we're going to need to fill next year. Scott, I heard a rumor that you wanted to come off. Is that true?
No, just move.
Just
Oh,
move.
Scott.
Oh. Move where? Off the board?
No. You said you would move off if nobody else was there.
Well, if you can find me a
if-
replacement, I'll be glad to train someone. But I mean, that's I'll stay until y'all kick me off, I guess.
All right. So as I understand it, I believe that we need to fill the secretary's position. Because Paul, I heard you were going to take Jim's place. Is that right?
I'd be willing to if assuming Jim doesn't just changes his mind and doesn't and wants to stay. But yeah, I'd be willing to do it.
Well, I'm not moving. So
Good.
You were going to be moving, weren't you? Or your wife was going to be moving?
Yeah, it was a possibility.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm glad you're staying.
That's not in the cards right now.
Your
So you can stay on as treasurer.
Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. Unless somebody else stands up and says they really want it.
All right.
No, I'm good to stay where I am.
All right.
I'm happy to do it. If,
My wife's across the room. She's like, he's got to get suckered into it.
I'm doing half your job anyway.
It's an honor.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
not a suckering thing. It's an honor.
Your wife's not moving, is she?
No.
That's why he was going to be moving last time. She was moving, and believe it or not, taking him with her.
Yeah, I got to follow her. She's my sugar mama.
Well, good news. So I guess if my math is correct, everyone on the board is planning on staying unless someone wants to take their place. Does that sound right?
Now, what about Mary Jean? Is this
Yeah, I
new
was gonna say,
job
what about her?
maybe going to affect her not being president, being she's going to Tipton County?
I thought I heard her say she would continue to be
That was the
president.
impression I had. It just may
Yeah.
be her availability
Right. For
to
different things.
respond may be limited
Right.
or changing compared to what it is now.
Board meeting, she was saying the board meeting might need to change or be a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Good
How many
deal.
people could make a 6 o'clock board meeting?
I could now.
So everybody can make it? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Then that,
Now,
she was questioning whether everybody could make a 6 o'clock board meeting.
I ran into Ty KX4MQ at Kroger, and he has expressed an interest. He doesn't want to be the director of programs, but he wants to be involved in some presentations. And so I'm certainly willing to
Yeah.
let him do that as long as it's not all DMR. But don't get me wrong, I like DMR. Don't get me wrong. It's just he's really a proponent of that. But thought I might try to incorporate him in and let him do some of the presentations as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the director of programs can just coordinates the programs
Right.
if you so
Well, I know I can have guest speakers and stuff, but I may, lean on him a little bit and if he wants to pitch in. And Mary Jean and I had a conversation. Apparently there used to be a position that was a non-voting position called club historian, and I thought about reaching out to Jason, KO4DOH, and see if he would be interested in that.
He never
as
comes
well.
to a meeting.
Well, you got a point. So
I don't think he's ever been to a meeting.
So he's been to a couple of them, because I know he came to the one for Parks on the Air and told me he was really pleased with what he saw and thought it was a good presentation.
Well, good deal. Yeah. Ty, I've talked to Ty also, and he was someone that I was thinking about trying to plug into one of these positions. He was really the only person that's come up to me really excited and wanting to be a part of the board. So I think that'll be a good thing, John.
Yeah,
He's
he
got a lot of
has a lot of good
energy.
ideas. Sometimes I
Yeah,
feel
he
like I'm
does.
holding back a little. 'Cause he's really-
Barry, have you touched base with Jonathan Ursel?
I have not, because I didn't know what
He might be willing
Scott's
to.
situation was.
What was that?
I just didn't know what Scott's situation was.
Well, the thing about it might be is let Jonathan parallel with Scott to where he can take over next year.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
You know, the following year, you know, have somebody in training.
That sounds good. What do you think, Scott?
Sure. I'll offer it to anyone. It's real simple. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Good deal. Well, thank you. Does anybody have anything else? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
His hand go up.
All right, Paul. Any second?
Second.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, raise your hand and or say aye.
Aye.
All right. Anybody opposed? All right. Thank you guys. Enjoyed it.
Got one nay.